Morning, everyone. So we'll go ahead and get started. We'll start by settling the body, bringing our attention to our posture, allowing the body to settle into a stable, comfortable, upright position. So we keep our feet flat and our back straight. Hands are in the lap, right over left, with the palms upturned and the thumbs gently touching, forming a gentle triangle against the body. Our eyes are gently closed or slightly open. Try to avoid slouching or leaning. Allowing the body to settle into its own stable, comfortable position without unnecessary tension or rigidity. And let go of attending to the outside world. Feel as though you're containing your attention just to the body and mind. Giving yourself the instruction to notice quickly when thoughts arise in the mind, thoughts of the past, plans for the future. And instead of energizing, following those thoughts, to give yourself the instruction of only attending to the physical sensation that accompanies the in breath and the out breath in the area around the nostrils. Tending closely to that one physical sensation and directing your attention quickly again and again when anything that isn't that sensation is arising in the mind. Lifting it gently without judgment or frustration and holding it again to the breath. And then generate a broad and altruistic motivation for your time. Thinking that the purpose of our time is to intentionally cultivate our good qualities, to tap into and activate our potential, and by focusing intentionally on cultivating mental moments of constructive activity, then we necessarily reduce the number of mental moments that we might have that are not constructive, that might cause suffering in our own minds, and the tendencies and the habits and the familiarities that we build will also make it easier to cultivate positive, constructive mental states again and again in the future. I think that's the purpose of our time. Then we'll contemplate dealing with the self-centered attitude, one of the core tendencies that can give rise to our suffering and can motivate us to cause suffering for others. So we try to think clearly that there is no real difference between myself and any other sentient being. In every moment, even in our dreams, we try to obtain what is pleasant, helpful, and avoid anything difficult, anything unpleasant. And so too are every other sentient being, even down to ants, mosquitoes. Every sentient being, every mind possessor, in every moment is acting to bring benefit to itself and to avoid anything that it deems harmful or unpleasant. So try to make a number of examples, demonstrate that truth Subjectively, then, for each sentient being, their ability to be happy, to be free of suffering, is of paramount importance. So there is no difference between any sentient being and how much right they have to accomplish that. Each sentient being is equal in wanting happiness, wanting to be free of suffering, equal in their striving, and equal with respect to their right to accomplish it. The only real difference is that all other sentient beings are numberless, whereas I am only a single sentient being. And in terms of the result from one's own spiritual perspective, the self-centered attitude that looks at one's own happiness as being all that is relevant is the attitude that actually brings only trouble, only misery for oneself, and can only motivate actions that cause suffering for others. Whereas looking at the innumerable suffering of all other sentient beings and dedicating oneself to the welfare of all is an attitude, a perspective that can only bring happiness to oneself and can only motivate actions that bring benefit to other sentient beings. So now make examples in your own experience of those times when you felt more narrow, more self-centered, more competitive, looking out only for your own interests, even at the expense of others. And see if that attitude at its core actually is pleasant, actually is expansive, is content, is calm, is peaceful. Or is it a tight, painful mind? Just check and demonstrate in your own experience. Try to think that each time that I approach a situation through the lens of what am I able to get from this situation? How does this benefit me? I set up conflict with others. I set up expectations in the behavior of others. I give rise to disappointment when those expectations are not met. I become intolerant and narrow in my focus. I feel competitive and at odds with others. And try to see if this seems true in your own experience. That this attitude, this approach makes criticism unbearable, gives rise to conflict and strife rather than acceptance and love and compassion. Conversely, when I think of being of benefit, my own problems diminish, become less important. I feel more satisfied and contented, more open and expansive, more connected to others, and I'm able to develop greater courage and inner strength and resilience. Try to think about the times when you've been more so in this state, and if those descriptions are true. And then try to think that the real purpose of my life is to be of benefit as much as possible. And just hold that thought single pointedly in the mind. And then when you're ready, we'll come back together. And then we'll dedicate. So recollect your altruistic motivation. Think that you've actualized that motivation by engaging in this virtuous contemplation, and that has created positive energy in the mind, and think that that energy will ripen in beneficial ways in the future. So think that you offer that energy for the benefit of sentient beings. Thinking strongly, may it ripen in whatever way is beneficial for all sentient beings without exception, up to and including creating the causes for their complete enlightenment. May it serve as a cause and condition for the arising of the state of enlightenment in my own mind, so that I would have the tools and the ability to accomplish this practice of being of benefit perfectly, unmistakably, for the benefit of all sentient beings. May any obstacles facing the Guru's long life be completely dispelled by practicing in this way. And by practicing in this way, may I and all other sentient beings in this moment come under the joyful care and protection of the enlightened beings. May I and they be guided and protected in this moment until our swift enlightenment. Thank you.